How are we, my friends? As promised, I am back for a bit of a news show, a very, very late one. It's 10:35, but we're back as promised, and we're going to take you through the latest news surrounding transfers to and from Liverpool Football Club. So, again, much love to you all. Appreciate you being back with me, and the floor is yours. Whatever you want to talk about, let me know. We will, of course, be touching on the Alexis McAllister links, the latest on Jude Bellingham's proposed move to Real Madrid, and yeah, a few other bits and pieces as it pops up along the way as well. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into the Alexis McAllister stuff because I'm now convinced myself that he's the answer. I'm convinced myself that he is now. Before we move into the transfer talk, though, can we have a little few minutes where we just discuss Darwin? Because certainly was probably the main topic of conversation in the chat today during the watch along was Darwin's performance and how unconvincing at times it was. Now, I got to caveat this by saying we only win that game because of Darwin and Darwin's press for the penalty and his work rate and effort. So, got to remember that as well. But can't say I was blown away with the performance. Klopp said he played well. I don't think he did. I don't think he did. But look, I'm happy Klopp says that because you want to build up the players' confidence. You want to make sure that you want to make sure that the player knows the manager believes in them. But for me, it's not going to be something that worries Cody Gakpo about losing his place anytime soon. But I do feel he'll come good. I just think it's going to take him a bit longer than other players, and that's all right. I think we're in a good position that we're able to give him that time. It'd be much worse if we had no forwards and the pressure was really on him to score game after game after game after game, where it isn't at the minute because Salah's back scoring, Gakpo's doing bits, Jota's in good form. So yeah, bit less pressure on him, but at the same time, do want to see a good end to the season from him because that tonight was disjointed is the best word I can use to describe his performance. As I said, I think next season we'll see Nunez really play well. I think you're right. Full pre-season under his belt, a bit more coaching in the unit about it's his movement that seems to be worrying me the most. Yeah, I think players like Trent are finding it very hard to pick up on what he's going to do, when he's going to go. Sometimes he's going too early. Sometimes he's almost looking to take part in the physical battle too much and he's forgetting to bring the football with him. But again, I can't say this clearly enough. We don't win that game today without Darwin having that effort and hard work to chase down the defender to win that penalty. So, got a caveat at all with that. Let's have a little chat around Alexis McAllister. So, it is a day today where we got some bad news with regards to Jude Bellingham's future, but it was mixed in with a little bit of potential good news as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I am more than happy now to start spreading the Alexis McAllister propaganda for Liverpool Football Club. I think it's the right player. I think it's the right age profile. I really, really can see immediately how he will be utilised in our system. For me, he's a very Jurgen Klopp type of player. And going off what the journalists have said today, you Fabrizio Romano's or your Florian Plettenbergs or the like, it seems like this is a very achievable deal for Liverpool. People have said that they don't believe there's going to be much of a problem with the transfer fee between Liverpool and Brighton. We know that Alexis McAllister and his camp and his father have said, all along that he's going to leave the Amex in the summer. So for me, common sense, it works, and I think it will work in our system. And the question is going to be, who do we bring in to build around that? And now, look, this isn't a done deal. I'm not trying to say expect, him holding the jersey in the next week or so. But it does feel like there's a lot of goodwill and a lot of momentum starting to build behind this move. And on a day where I woke up to the saddened news about Jude Bellingham most likely going to be heading to the Santiago Bernabeu, this is a nice little boost because it makes sense. It makes sense for me, this deal. Interested to see what the numbers are going to be. I know £60 million has been a number that has been mentioned quite a bit in the media. I would hope Liverpool can maybe chop that down a little bit. He is, of course, a World Cup winner, and nothing wrong with having a World Cup winner in your squad. I wonder, though, will he take the 10 if he comes in? Because remember, Liverpool have no number 10 at present, so that shirt is available, as will the number 8 be, of course, in the summer as well, when Naby Keita finally leaves Liverpool Football Club. The 7 will be up as well, James Milner. He looks very likely to switch roles, actually, and move to Brighton. to join the De Zerbi revolution there. He's been apparently very impressed with what he's heard from the Brighton manager. So yeah, maybe we take in Alexis McAllister and we bid farewell, and a massive thank you to James Milner, who looks like he's headed to the Amex, which it's weird, right? We have this little relationship now where our senior players, like your Lalatanas, your Milners, go to the Amex. That's all right if we can take their best younger players like Alexis McAllister. 24 years of age is perfect. Hopefully he can add a few more goals and assists from midfield as well, which is something over the last few years we just haven't had enough of at Liverpool. We just haven't. We've been nowhere near the levels we'd hope from midfielders. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, are you excited by this? I know most Liverpool fans that I've spoken to throughout the season, if we were talking about Brighton and a midfielder, the name would have been Moses Caicedo that most people would have been mentioning. But I actually think this is a better fit for Liverpool, the idea of Alexis McAllister. And again, World Cup winner. Not going to say no to a World Cup winner. It's who we join up with, though. Ugarte and Barella. That's the dream now for me. Alexis McAllister, Manuel Ugarte, and Nicolo Barella. If we can get those three in, and it's a big ask and it's a big if, I would be very, very happy. Thuram, obviously from Nice, is another name doing the rounds. I'm not as up to speed on his capabilities, only, looking at his stats, a few highlights and bits and pieces. He seems promising, but for me, that's who I want. Ugarte, McAllister, Barella. That's my dream midfield three for Liverpool to sign this summer. How much do I think that would cost? Probably about 160 million at a guess. There's talk that Ugarte has a buyout clause of 60 million euro in his Sporting contract. He's contracted, if my memory serves me correct, until 2026 there. So we may have to pay the full release clause. If we do, that's going to be about 52 million pound then. McAllister, let's say 55 million, and then Barella would probably be around the 50 million mark as well. So that would be brilliant for me. That would make my Jude Bellingham disappointment kind of fritter away. And on Bellingham, let me just say this. It is the best of the worst case scenario. So it would be far more hurtful to me, and I'm sure to you guys as well, if we looked at a situation where Jude Bellingham was coming in to play for United or City or Chelsea. The lure or the allure of Real Madrid is there for all to see, and he can achieve what he wants to achieve there. He can win Ballon d'Ors, he can win European Cups. But the part that I find very difficult to take about this whole Jude Bellingham thing is that the numbers being mentioned that Madrid want to get him for are about 100 to 120 million euro, which kind of flies in the face of why we walked away. The numbers were getting too high. It was getting astronomical. They're the numbers we were talking about last year. So if they can get him for that, and look, there's nothing to say they definitely will, because Dortmund will set their valuation and it's up to the two clubs to sort out a fee. If he goes there for 120 million euro or less, I'm going to be furious at FSG again for shitting the bed on this one, because that's a very fair, reasonable price for generational talent. And we've already lost out on one midfielder who Klopp wanted, Arjen Tchouameni, to Real Madrid. He made his wishes known that that's where he wanted to go. He got his move. And now it looks like Bellingham could be following suit. And I don't know why we're allowing it to happen. I really don't know why Liverpool are sitting. Well, I do know the owners, but apparently everybody else is happy with the owners. And, there's just a few of us who are shouting for a few more pound in the old transfer kitty. But I do think Jurgen Klopp will get it sorted. I think push past that disappointment. Let's rebuild this midfield. I'm a little bit confused on the centre-back search, to be honest with you. We'll move on to that in a few minutes. But over to you guys now. Let me know your thoughts on McAllister. Let me know your thoughts on Bellingham. And let me know your thoughts on the whole transfer saga at the minute. Casey said, genuinely don't see a world in which we get Barella. No matter what journalists try to make us believe, he will stay in Italy most likely for his whole career. Well, if we don't get Barella, I'm not happy with Gravenberch being an alternative. I don't think it's as close to a ready here and now player. I think if we go for Gravenberch, we're almost taking a bit of a punt. Obviously, he could do it, and the price is certainly going to be more reasonable. I'd rather go, let's say, Ugarte, Thuram, and McAllister then. De Jong would be great, but we're not going to pay his wages. We're not going to pay Frankie de Jong 350 grand a week. There's no way. United might, and he may go there. And I will be very happy again if we beat Manchester United to the signature of Alexis McAllister, which it looks like we could well do. He's another one that was was in the United fans' wish list. Craig's Apple Crumble said, I've moved on from Jude, to be honest. McAllister is a great start to the rebuild. Yeah, look, if he's the first one through the door, no complaints. No complaints on him being one of the players Klopp wants. It makes sense. I can see how it'll work. And I like him. Yeah, I like what he brings to the pitch. Surely Ndika on a free is a no-brainer. Connor, again, mate, I'm with you. I agree with you. But when you've got, I think it was Neil Jones, I think, who said from, I think it was on a Redmen show maybe, that when he spoke to his sources at the club, it was pretty firm on no interest there on that one, which doesn't really make sense, does it? Considering he's in a position we need free. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. But it is important we get the right players. And if Klopp has a specific target in mind that he wants at centre back, well, then hopefully Klopp gets him. I don't know if that's going to be Yuri and Timber or not. You know, he spoke this week about the fact that he had an agreement with Ajax last season that he'd stay another season. Yeah, and I don't know enough on Timber to really say if he'd be a good fit or not. I haven't watched enough of him. Adam, the dude, said, I'm not bothered at all about Bellingham. Not even a little bit, Adam? Not even a little bit? I mean, look, I feel way more comfortable with him going to Real Madrid. You know, I can live with that. I couldn't live seeing him in Manchester or in Chelsea or something, but I can live with him in Real Madrid, you know, because I think going off everything he said himself about his career, how he wants to look back on it, how he wants to build it, what he wants to achieve. Look, huge club. As I said, the stadium getting redone there as well. You know, a young new midfield there with himself, Camavinga and Tchouaméni going forward in the long term. Valverde as well. It's going to be hard to see how they don't win a lot more European Cups in the coming years. But yeah, as much as you say you're all right with it, it kind of hurts a little bit. I really felt like this was destiny. 100% said yes to McAllister too, said Josh Cleary. I was never on the Jude train, said Adam. I bet you if you woke up tomorrow morning, Adam, and you seen that it had all changed and Jude was coming to Liverpool, I bet you'd be excited about it. I bet you would. Corin said, I'm telling you now, Jude won't be seen in the Prem. Madrid won't sell him, and then when they do, it'll be extortionate. Oh yeah, like this was our chance, Corin. You know, if we didn't get him in this opportunity of his career, like this stage of his career, yeah, I'm with you. Once he goes to Madrid, if he moves on in the future, it will probably be for an astronomical sum of money to somebody that won't be us. Casey said, happy that Bellingham is basically confirmed to Madrid. Heard people saying we should wait another summer from, and I would have been fuming if we wasted another season. Yeah, I'm with you. We haven't got the time to waste, Casey. But I can't get past the fact that we gave up too easy. It just sticks in my throat that FSG didn't follow through with it and didn't at least really try and test Dortmund's resolve. And I get that they didn't want it to become a saga, and I get all that, but you had 2 fucking years to get it sorted. You had 2 years to convince the lad. You had 2 years to put the money in place, and it just felt like we walked away way too easily. Like, embarrassingly too easily. Corin said, I'm glad we aren't chasing people around anymore. Just get it done nice and quick, like Diaz, Gakpo, Nunez, quick and sweet. I'm absolutely open to the possibility of us getting a midfield this summer that could put us in a decent position next year. I just, again, Corin, I've got to be honest, I have still got some doubts that we will see the amount that we think. You know, we need 3 mids. I think we may see 2. I hope I'm wrong and we see 3. I'm really at a loss to figure out where the search is going to be for centre back, because Gvardiol looks like he's out of a price range. If we take some of the journalists at the word on Ndika, we're not interested. Timber, I mean, United are after him as well. Are we? Yeah, I mean, I'm lost to try and figure out. You know, there's the stuff on the 2 kids from Portugal, Inacio and Silva. Silva's gone very quiet. We obviously had scouts in Lisbon, probably looking at both Inacio and Ugarte in their recent game midweek or in the last week. It feels like we must have a centre-back target almost sorted for it to be so quiet. Like, I feel like we must have something in place. Would you be happy if McAllister was our biggest transfer this summer? Because personally, I wouldn't. I want FSG to give us a Rice, for example, to make up for Bottle and Bellingham. They won't. If they didn't spend the money on Bellingham, they're not spending it on Rice. Would I be okay if he was our biggest? Well, look, it depends what the other, like if we get a 60, a 50, and a 40 million pound midfielders, then yeah, I'm all right with it. If we go and sign a 60 million quid midfielder, get somebody for 18, and then bring in a cheap centre back, then no, I'm not all right with it. Burn it down, Hose. Thank you for the bits, my friend. Appreciate it. He said, "What do you reckon our midfield three will be next season?" I'm gonna go for the dream, but I've said at the start of the video. Ugarte, McAllister, Barella, with Stefan Bojcetic there, and Curtis Jones as well for cover rotation. And hopefully Jones continues to play like he has. Add in your little bit of experience with Fabinho and Henderson, Thiago for those couple of games this season where we'll get to see the best of him maybe. And yeah, we're all right at that point. But do I really think we'll see Barella? No. I think it's more wishful thinking from me, to be honest. Imagine they spent 80 million on. If we spend 80 million pound on Mate, if we spent even 70 million pound on Mason Mount, mate, after saying we hadn't got the money for Jude Bellingham, it may move me to tears of frustration. How do we feel about that game though? It was really meh, wasn't it? Like it was the epitome of meh, that game tonight. And again, the fact that we nearly conceded a late equaliser really doesn't sit well with me. The fact that we controlled the game for so long and we just couldn't finish them. But we did win, so maybe I'm being too nitpicky. Winning 1-0 doesn't feel good, said Master Fred. Well, apparently Alisson was over the moon, mate, with a clean sheet. And he deserved it. He was brilliant again today. Great save at his near post from, I think it was Vinicius, if my memory's correct. So yeah, it really indebted to the big man once again. At least we are rebuilding a winning character. Very well said, yep. Alejandro, very well said. Nothing wrong with winning, mate. It becomes a habit and, grinding out a 1-0 win. Yeah, 3 points is 3 points, so very good point. And I'd certainly, it's not, 5 in a row now, after the draw at Arsenal, so nothing wrong with it. We're finishing, we're finishing the season in a lot better form than we had throughout the season. Can we talk about Fabinho? Absolutely. Much better performance from Fabinho today. Weird seeing him so advanced at times on the right hand side. There was one time he was pressing, and I think it was our furthest player up the pitch on the right hand side. But I thought he was good today. I thought he was good in both senses, defensively, and I thought that he wasn't afraid to join up and get involved in attacks. So yeah, good from Fabinho. Still don't feel comfortable that we go into next season without another defensive midfielder brought in, though, if I'm being really honest with you. I don't know where Kloppo's long-term thinking for Bojcetic is. Is he a 6? Is he an 8? Is he a mixture of the two? I don't know. First time we've went 5 in a row this season. I know. Not great, Corin. Not great. But when these things happen for me, I get a bit frustrated because you just think of some of those stupid results during the season. How do you go and beat United and then lose to Bournemouth? I mean, that 3 points could be the difference between a realistic top 4 charge here at the end of the season and not. Interestingly, we play again before Newcastle play, so we could be, I think, 3 points from them if when they play Arsenal, albeit they'll have games in hand, of course. Trent currently going through his Gerrard phase. Yes, he looks so much more comfortable in the position he's in now. And you got to give him and Kloppo credit for that. Trent probably should have had 3 assists tonight, said Maddie. Yeah, we were very wasteful today in the final third. And I don't know if it was the timing of runs or the movement of the foot. I don't know, but we just seem to get into positions and just not test Leno, which is, even when we had strikes from distance, like they were all sailing high and wide. Do you think we saw McAllister this month? Very possible. Yes, very possible. It does look like there's an acceptance from Brighton he's leaving. The Jimmy Milner, going in there as well, which is not related to the deal, but that looks very likely. He can go into Brighton. And I think Alexis McAllister is a very, very good fit. Really do. Seeing the 5 green dots on live score feels so good because we used to have that almost every week this season. Yeah, win, 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 win. It's nice. It is nice, George. It always lifts the spirits when when you get a little run of form like this towards the end of the season, and hopefully we can keep it up and finish the season as strongly as possible. I still don't think we're going to get a real shot at pressing those Champions League spots, but that's our own fault. Do you want Henderson at the club next season? Yes, in a very limited role compared to his playing minutes now, but yeah, I think Jordan Henderson to do the Milner role, to be the senior pro at the club, to come out to help see out games, to maybe help some of the youngster players through the Europa League games. Yeah, one more season to go, I think, with Hendo maybe. Thiago, again, he's got 1 year left on his deal. So, yeah, I don't really see. I think you'll see a loan for Carvalho, a loan for Morton. Not sure on Bradley yet. Probably a loan. Jones more than done enough now to justify being kept around, and hopefully he continues to progress, because what we're seeing from him is really, really good. Elliot, I'm a little bit concerned about Elliot, because I just don't know where he plays. Want him to do well, believe in the kid's ability, but I don't know in the team what's Elliot's position. Is he a backup for Mo? I don't see him as a right-sided midfielder, in all honesty. Yeah, that's the toughest question for me on Elliot, is where does he play? The players who left Brighton haven't looked half as good since leaving. Worries me a tad. Sometimes that is the case, yeah. Sometimes the club is just in a moment with a group of players, and it just works, and players feel comfortable, and I think we'll be good with Alexis Mac Allister, though. I remember, I think it was Moby Hake posted about him when he was moving from 7 million quid or something to Brighton, and saying he's one to watch, and he was right on the money with that one. I think Mac Allister's going to be, yeah, I think he's going to be a no-brainer, a really, really sense. I think, you know what? This is what I'm gonna say. He's going to be our new Genie Wijnaldum. That's what I'm going to say about Alexis McAllister. He's going to be bulletproof physically. He's going to be reliable for the manager. He's going to be versatile. He's going to work really hard. And finally, we will have the person to fill those Genie minutes and games. Maxi Rodriguez and Mascherano will put in a good word, so it'll happen. It looks very likely based on the few bits and pieces that we're seeing in the media today. Could you see City entering for McAllister as a Gundo replacement? Without knowing, because I don't, I would imagine that a lot of the groundwork from us has already been done there, and I'd expect that it may be too late. It's football, so you never say never. We're lucky to be even getting Europa League based off the way we've played this season. Yeah, look, I mean, we were staring down the barrel of either no European football or maybe Europa Conference League, and to be pretty comfortably tucked away in fifth place at the minute it's okay. It is what it is. Not that it's ever okay to miss out in the Champions League, but at least we're finishing the season somewhat strongly. I really don't see us getting into the final of the Europa. Really? We're winning it, Corin. It's in Dublin. It's destiny. We're winning it. Doesn't even matter. What we need to make sure we do in the Europa next season is win the group, so we don't get this playoff that United had with Barcelona. We don't need that. So we need to make sure we win the group, and then go about winning the Europa League, and yeah, getting into pot one. Would you actually take the Mickey Mouse treble next season? FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Europa? Well, I'd take it for a couple of reasons, Casey. One, it guarantees us Champions League and pot one Champions League the following year. And yeah, 3 trophies in a year. Yes, absolutely. Nothing wrong with it. That would mean the only thing we couldn't have won that we entered is the Premier League. So, yeah, I'll take that. No problem. Right, look, I'm going to leg it. It is 11:20. I better see the family for a little bit as well. It's been a long old day. Much love. Appreciate your support as always tonight, folks. Yeah, got the win. We'll talk tomorrow. Of course, we'll be live for the United Brighton game. Hope to see you for that one. And yeah, talk to you then. Take care. Bye-bye.